because all this, because we've had a case study, Piers. We've had 4 years of Trump, and now we're gonna have 4 years.
Oh, check this out, bro. This is PBD's biatch. PBD's like assistant. Trying to get at HASANABI. Like, look, HASANABI is one of those like far left radical, pro this, pro that SJWs. But as far as this foreign policy and like what he's been doing recently with the whole, especially with what's going on in the Middle East, he's been 100 about the entire thing. Like he's actually one of the few content creators that is well versed in it, and he's keeping it real. He's talking to he's really him and Sank too. They're the few ones that are kind of, but it's funny how they kind of allow them to be very pro-Palestine, especially on certain platforms. So sometimes I think they take it too far, and YouTube doesn't do shit, but they want to target smaller accounts. I don't know what the fuck that's about, but yeah, they've been the most reliable.
So Biden, there is no debate. There's no arguing. The country is shit right now. And I know Hassan said, Trump was talking about the border and the illegals are the problem. They are the problem, okay? They are. Kerry mentioned one story. There's been 4 this week, 4 of young girls getting raped and murders. And people like that say, oh, it's not really a problem. You say that because it's not happening to you or your family or your daughter or your mother, okay? It is a problem. And by the end of this 4 years, the number's probably going to be 18 million.
The whole state of California. I don't know what you're talking about. I live in California. We are the largest border state, as the governor also mentioned.
Yeah, it's a whole.
Oh yeah, it's a total hellhole, dude.
California is a shit show.
Look at your tan.
Oh, yeah, it's sinking. By the way, first of all, I don't respect any Nepo baby that thinks Twitch streaming is a job. And I want the audience to know, this guy, Hassan, has said in the past that America...
What the fuck are you talking about, bro? That Hassan is like a multi-millionaire Twitch streamer, so put some respect on his name, bro. What do? You're like PBD's assistant that, fucking... I don't know, he's always red and shit and has the lamest takes.
America deserve 9/11. So don't even talk. Don't even open your mouth. Don't even open your mouth.
Hold up.
You don't even open your. This guy Hassan has said in the past that America deserve 9/11. So don't even talk.
Shit.
Don't even open your mouth. Don't even.
That's
open
a big
your
accusation.
Mouth. You don't have no reason to talk. Just shut up.
I'm a big
Just
fan
do me a
of
favor
you.
and shut up.
I'm a big
Respectfully.
fan of you. And
okay, but hold on.
I'm a big fan of you, so I don't want you to die. I feel like your heart pressure is going up. You're turning.
Yeah, this motherfucker's about to have a heart
Somebody
attack.
like you to say America deserved 9/11, Hassan, you shouldn't be on this fucking panel. I'm sorry for my language, Piers. He doesn't belong on your show. That being said, Piers, it'll be a huge challenge.
Triggered, Vinny?
Huge challenge for Democrats.
Should we invoke Donald Trump right now and say, let's not be children?
Yeah, I think that's a very good call, Jenna. Yeah, I think we're going to try and keep things.
Let's not play that game.
Do you know what was interesting? What was interesting? Well, hang on. What was interesting about last night, actually, I'll bring Cenk back in here. I liked the format, actually, of the way CNN did this. I thought Jake Tapper and Dana Bash did a very competent job. But also, I liked the format where there was no audience to manipulate, perhaps, or save a candidate for themselves, or to overreact to try and drown out a particularly salient point. And the mute button worked very well. You could see both candidates trying to speak at various times when their mute button was on. I don't know what you thought, but I actually thought it was a pretty good format for showing us what the reality was of these two candidates.
So, Piers, a lot of people are criticizing CNN now, and in fact, they themselves this morning admitted that maybe we should have fact-checked Trump once or twice when he said, like, deranged things like, oh, there's post-birth abortions. That doesn't make any sense at all.
But my answer would be, why Joe Biden should have done it. Right, Biden should have called him out on all those things, but he wasn't able to do it.
Hold on. That's exactly what I'm getting to.
Right. This is why I don't buy it. Look, the illegal immigration shit, it's a serious problem, obviously, because there's open borders and, but look, the fact is, the most amount of illegal immigrants that were deported were never under Republican presidencies. Like, Trump wants to make it seem like the Democrats let everybody in. Obama deported over 4 million immigrants under his presidency, right? And now we have 8 million immigrants that have crossed the border. So obviously it doesn't seem like it's some type of political policy that's allowing these immigrants to come in. It's something deeper than that. It's obviously, we don't want to get into the whole human trafficking shit and what's going on, with some of these corrupt people that are involved in our politics, and they're working with cartels and stuff like that, and there's this whole business behind the whole thing. But the fact of the matter is, Democrats have deported more immigrants than Republicans ever. I don't think Trump even deported as many as Obama, even though he likes to claim that he did. And the reality of it is, a lot of these immigrants, I don't know what the purpose is. Some people say it's for the Democrats to win the election, or they're going to use them for World War III, and there's all these other theories, the replacement theory and all that bullshit that comes with that. Who the fuck knows, man? But there's some big business behind it, man. Human trafficking, all types of shit. Cartel tapped in with some fucking corrupt government officials. It gets deep, man.
Right. So, when somebody says something so stupid like that, and like Trump says, oh, they let out all the mental institutions and the prisoners of countries, the opponent has a responsibility to say, which countries?
Yeah.
Tell me which countries released all their prisoners and mental inmates, etc. What are you talking about? Post-birth abortion? That doesn't even make any sense, you deranged lunatic. So yeah, I'm not getting on Jake Tapper or Dana Bash. The guy opposed to you is supposed to make those super obvious points.
Yeah.
Look, at this point, this conversation about whether Joe Biden's going to drop out is over. He's definitely going to drop out. The donors no longer think he's a good investment.
Facts.
And think about this, Piers.
It's either going to be Newsom and Gritchman Whitmer, whatever his name is, Gritchman Whitmer. And he might even have to throw in Michelle Obama as the vice president. But I mean, who knows? She said that she wouldn't be willing to do it. I think if it was Newsom and Michelle Obama, Trump is fucked. Okay, because you're gonna have people that were gonna sit out or not vote for either candidate that are more right left leaning, and you're gonna get the women are gonna come out in droves, right? And it's just gonna be a fuck Trump. Yeah, Trump can't. He would not beat. I think he'd give him a run for his money, for sure. But if they play that Newsom card, because Newsom is slick, he's a snake oil salesman. Like, he knows how to talk, he knows how to dress, he knows how to convey himself way better than Trump too. Right? You guys saw that debate between he fucking smoked DeSantis. Remember when Newsom debated DeSantis? Dude, he smoked DeSantis so bad. Like, it was just, I think that's what even contributed to him losing the Republican nomination. Because Newsom shit on the guy, man. So imagine what he could do with 81-year-old Trump, who barely, like, if you really want to keep it real, like, barely kind of beat Biden. He didn't do that well. Like, Trump it wasn't anything spectacular in his performance, So, yeah, Newsom would give him a run for his money.
Imagine what history is going to say about him. That he put his monstrous ego, maybe an ego even larger than Donald Trump's, above the needs of the country, the party, the voters. It's an unbearable thought. He would become one of the great villains of American history. And there's actually a really easy way to replace him. All he has to do is say, I'm out. And then we go back to a traditional convention where the delegates decide. That's almost always how Americans
decide
their
by the way, I think
candidates anyway.
Yeah, we discussed it before, but two incumbent Democrat presidents since the end of World War II have both stood down in election year, Harry Truman and Lyndon Johnson. So there's a precedent here for this to happen. It just hasn't happened where the incumbent president doesn't want to go. Jenna, I want to bring you in just on one point.
Lyndon Johnson, them boys.
Is the behavior of Jill Biden after the debate. Watch this.
Oh, you did such a great job. You
answered this is sad, bro. This is so sad. Look at it.
And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lied!
Oh my God.
I mean, I found that pretty painful to watch. She then led a child of 4 more years. And the reason it's painful is she's Dr. Jill Biden. This is her husband. He's in front of maybe 100 million people in America alone, tens of millions more watching around the world, being utterly humiliated, clearly has onset dementia, and is being, dragged through an incredibly embarrassing, humiliating process of this debate, being mocked and laughed at around the world. And rather than do what any normal spouse would do, I think, in that situation, which is be protective and save Joe Biden from himself, she seems even keener than he is for him to carry on and to perpetrate and continue to perpetrate the lie that there's nothing wrong here. He answered every question. Well, he didn't even understand most of the questions from what I could see. What did you think about her as the First Lady and her responsibility here?
Well, she's clearly married to power, not to Joe Biden personally, and that's incredibly tragic. I was watching this debate with my parents who have been happily married for almost 50 years, and my mom was almost in tears looking at how frail and tragic of a figure Joe Biden was on stage. We all said our heart went out to him.
And shame to Biden and his family members, especially his wife. Shame to you guys in the Democratic Party for even allowing this guy to get on stage and look like a buffoon and embarrass himself. That's a shame. You guys allowed him to do that. Like, it's like, imagine having your grandpa or your dad who has dementia and you're putting him on stage to embarrass himself. You guys are fucking sick, okay? And his wife should be just as ashamed for her to even allow him to do this thing. He didn't have to do this shit, right? But for them to allow him to get on stage like that, and then after the fact, she wants to mock him, because she was mocking him. Let's keep it where she's like, oh, you were able to get through every question, and it's just, that was hard to watch, man. And, and it is what it is. That's look, man, when your woman who's supposed to look up to your wife or whatever, and she sees you just weak, frail, cognitively declining, they're just gonna act a certain way, man, because now she's kind of they're generally not in a leadership role, and they see Biden looking like fucking spoiled milk, man, up there, and it just it was just a bad look, man. Shame on his family, bro, for allowing him to get on stage. I could
sympathize with Van Jones on the panel after CNN
terrible.
Moved to tears, saying he just looked terrible. Everybody knows that he clearly is sick. He is unable to fulfill his duties. And yet here is Jill Biden, the one person in his life that should be telling him, listen, you've got to step down, helping facilitate that, looking out for his best interest, not to mention the country as the First Lady, but his own best interest. And she's the one who's standing up, treating him like a child. I mean, it was like she was in a preschool class and telling him as a toddler, you did a good job, little one. It was so unbearably pathetic that this woman would prioritize this.
Look, I've got 4 kids. It's like when your 4-year-old comes last in a race on sports day and you tell them you did a great job. That's really what it felt like to me. It's an absolute obvious lie. Everyone saw your kid come last, but you don't want them to be too upset. And I've been really struck by the immediate, because I used to work at CNN for 4 years. I was there on election nights in 2012 and stuff. I have never seen a CNN panel react the way they did at the immediate end of that debate. John King absolutely lacerated Biden's performance in a way I've never seen him do. Van Jones, like you say, was sort of tearful. David Axelrod pounded him, but they all did. And I was really struck by...
Why is Van Jones always crying about everything,
We've got a clip of some of this. Let's take a look.
As we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate.
I remember when Van Jones' punk ass started crying when Trump lost the election, guys. That must have been like, I don't think... Dude, how did his wife probably didn't give him pussy for like 6 months straight, man. Like, that dude was crying like a bitch. If you guys haven't seen it, go see that shit.
Party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket. And they're having conversations about what they should do about it. Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that call because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting. The contrast between the two candidates.
It wasn't a little halting. The end of that debate, the summary